2022, 7:04 p.m., City of Somerton regular council meeting. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty. Roll call.
Mayor Gerardo Anaya.
Present.
Miguel Villalpando.
Present.
Councilmember Luis Galindo.
Present.
Councilmember Jesus Roldan.
Present.
Councilmember Martha Garcia. Councilmember Juan Castillo.
Present.
Member Lorena Sendejas. Have a quorum.
Oh, yes, I have a quorum. All of us. Yeah. Moving on, call to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to address council?
Manuel Valenzuela.
Manuel Valenzuela, 1512 South 4th Avenue or 46th Avenue, Yuma, Arizona. I also have a couple businesses here on Main Street, 125B Main Street and 346 Main Street. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. So before I get started, I love trees. Before I get into this agenda, I do love trees. There's just some trees that I would rather see in a park, not in front of a business or right inside almost a business. There's a couple trees in particular that are blocking some of the views and even the access to the businesses that I have. One in particular is at the pizzeria. It's right in that, patio area that's been fenced off and it's just in the way. It's an eyesore. It blocks the view. It's already hard enough to see when you're driving by because it's kind of, in between some of those buildings. But, I just want to make the comment that those trees are kind of an eyesore, at least for me in those areas. And then over here at the Michoacana too, I spend a lot of money and, making it beautiful in the heart of the city, colorful, big windows so that you can see when you drive by. But again, when you're coming from west to east, big tree blocks my big sign. And then Del Sol followed your guys' lead and decided to put more trees. So now that blocks the whole view. That's another animal that I will tackle later. But, just a suggestion. I mean, they're, like I said, those trees, they're nice. I love trees, but I just think that for business, not only mine, I'm pretty sure everybody else that has them in front of theirs is kind of an eyesore and also an obstruction, to the view of the business. I spent some money too at the pizzeria to put some new lights in the sign. But again, that tree, that one is from east to west. You can't see it. Again, you can't see it anyways, but that tree is definitely not helping. And same thing over here. There's, like I said, there's trees all along Main Street, but it's just a comment, suggestion. Maybe we can remove and plant somewhere else. I know we can't, they're already full-grown trees, but I think that that would definitely at least help the views and have more, visibility for the public. We're all about businesses, bringing them into Somerton. I think if we clean it up a little bit too, that might help in those areas, especially where, those trees are right in front of the storefronts. So that's it. Oh, one more thing. If you can put a 4-way stop sign right in front of the pizzeria, that way they can stop and look, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public wishing to address council? There's no one. We have 3 items in consent agenda. Approval of minutes for special meeting of March 22nd, 2022, special meeting of March 24th, 2022, and work session April 5th. And then we have the other item, approval of a 3-year agreement for internet services with
Spectrum Enterprise for a monthly fee of $10,274 to service all city facilities, and approval of amended contract with Western Arizona Council of Governments for fiscal year 2022 for Senior Nutrition Meals Program. Does any member of council want to remove an item from a consent agenda? Is there a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
So motion by Councilwoman Garcia, second by Councilwoman Sendeja. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have one presentation. It's from Julie Engel from Greater Yuma Economic Development Corporation on a mid-year report.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. It is such an honor and a privilege to be here tonight to get to present to you. COVID kept us away for a while, and I am a little embarrassed to say this is my first time seeing Council Member Zendejas. So it's nice to meet you, and it's wonderful to be back and able to talk to you guys in person and kind of give you an update. You have, I have to say kudos, you have a real treasure. Time up? You want to finish? You want your time back?
Andrea.
Well, I just want to say you have quite a find over here. She is a dynamo, Miss Marlena, and we enjoy working with her so much. And we also really enjoy Hector. I would like to say that what I'm going to show you tonight is an update in our marketing materials that we hired a young intern who is in between his bachelor's and master's degree, and he's going into city administration, and he is from this area. And you've gotten Saul to come work for you, who was one of our interns. And I hope you can get this young man, Armando. He is incredible. And we've used all of our colors, but he has created this new design that is very eye-catching for us. And he also kind of put together, is this how I want to change it? Or do I, okay. So this kind of framework of having these bullets of the things that industries are most interested in. And so that is, the population. Workforce is driving so much of the decisions that are being made by industry today because there is such a shortage of workforce. We're very fortunate in Yuma County because we do still have available labor who are definitely underemployed because they're only employed part of the year. They're not employed the entire year. And they also have a lot of the skill sets that are being looked for by manufacturing because they're working in the food industry. So, and we have Marines that are exiting on a regular basis. I have my friend here. He can account for that as well. He can attest to the number of Marines that are exiting monthly. And they have a very special asset that is in high desire, and that is they have clearance. So if you need an employee who needs federal clearance, like our Border Patrol and our Customs and things like that, these exiting Marines have those clearances. So it's a plus for us. So right here we have the 430 plus Marines, and our manufacturing program that is actually in the town of Welton. We have 130 students enrolled right now, and it is a growing program. And as I was talking about too, the 16,300 industrial workers are underemployed. They are only working sometimes 6, sometimes 5 months out of the year. So this is one of the assets that we sell all the time, and it is how we're able to attract. And then our retention rate is we have 0 turnover. So once they do get a job, they're very loyal. Do I just need to tell you to, okay, thank you. Sorry about that. So these are the industries that all that labor force can support seamlessly and effortlessly, food processing being a very big one. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a future slide. We are working very closely with our partners in San Luis Sonora and in Mexicali. And we have several programs that are underway with them, and I'm going to talk about that too. And then with logistics and distribution, just this past week, we had the Port of San Diego here. We have so many end users that are struggling right now in LA and Long Beach that are going to consider using the Port of San Diego, which will reduce their costs significantly, which allows them to hire more people. So we're really excited about this opportunity that's happening with our logistics and distribution and with the foreign trade zone. We've had a lot of interest too with companies who were crossing into Long Beach and LA that are now using the deep sea port in Ensenada. And they're coming up through Mexico all the way to cross in San Luis. And that is saving them a tremendous amount of money because they don't hit the longshoreman unions and things like that. Next slide, please. So this is what we've done up to today. These are the projects that are either already operational or getting ready to be operational. And Project Rings, which is actually named Somerton Manufacturing, they are making the gigantic steel rings that they use on fishing nets for commercial fishing. It's a very niche product that they make. They were in Tijuana Tijuana, excuse me. And they wanted to get out of Mexico and they came over here. They have what we lovingly call the Purina building in Somerton because of its red and white checker box that looks like the Purina logo. And they have put a significant amount of money in improving that site. And it is now fully operational. And they have, last we checked, they had 50 people hired. And unfortunately, that number is not on that list that I had Jerry hand out to you before the meeting. So we don't know yet what the zip code is of those employees, if they are from Somerton, if they're from San Luis, if they're coming all the way from Yuma and Welton. I'm always astounded to see in the DES call center that you have someone coming all the way from Welton every day to work in the DES call center, which tells me that, they have to buy gas here. They're probably buying their lunches here. So that is one of the assets to having a major employer in your community. And we want to keep trying to expand on that. And we're really proud of the Somerton Manufacturing. So in total, these projects add about almost 1,200 new jobs, a CapEx of $385 million and 965,000 square feet of industrial space and $44 million in new payroll. Next slide, please. So as I was talking about earlier, the partnership that we have with Aprode is this work site that is a binational portal for jobs, and it's also for employers. And what we have found is what's happening, there is a shortage in a lot of the very hard to get positions like engineering, healthcare workers, teachers. There's a shortage across the state. So we are losing them to the Phoenix metro area and the Tucson metro area, and we're not able to backfill. And so then you're losing them to Yuma because then Yuma has to backfill. And so it's just this never-ending wheel of transition. So what we are trying to do is not displace Yuma County workers, but we are taking advantage of all the universities that exist in Mexicali and San Luis Sonora, and we are finding that skilled talent through this portal. We have found 3 new teachers through Mexicali that speak English, that are dual accredited to teach in both Mexico and the US, and they're working at, it's the private school, I'm going blank. Anyway, we found 3 teachers for them. We have found 2 engineers for S&A Industries. And when we gave this presentation to the city of San Luis, it turned out, yeah.
You found one too?
Yeah, he found an employee already. Here's what I found. Yay. So anyway, there are engineers, planners. They are fully trained. And if you have a position, you can put your position on this portal. They will send their resumes directly to you. There's nobody in the middle trying to filter this out. Or you can ask GYDC and Aprode to screen for you if you have specific things you're looking for, but we can help fill some of those really difficult positions. And so far, we've been really successful. Healthcare is another industry sector that is growing significantly in Yuma County. And you guys have one of the largest growth in that sector with the border health and what they're doing down in San Luis as well. And so we have actually been able to find, and it's really cool a lot of their nursing students came over and trained in the hospital, and they trained in the simulations and things like that. So again, they're trying to get these people who want to stay in Mexico but work in the US, and they are either dual citizens, they're legal to work. Maybe they were born here and moved over there, but it's working out rather well. So if you are having issues, we hope you'll take advantage of this because it is working. And then we have also, I'm very excited about this revolving loan fund that we're working with the Small Business Development Center, Arizona Western College, and Chicanos por la Casa. So we have recognized that there's not been enough resources for those small businesses who are trying to start up. Jerry and I have been talking to Jim Schusler, who is the new SBDC director. He is going to start having office hours in each community. I don't know if it's going to be every other week. I don't know if it's going to be once a month, but during those office hours, he's going to take some of the pain off of the city. When you have all these people coming in and wanting to start a business and need that guidance, it's not a role that the city really has time to do. So we need to have that SBDC presence here so that we can guide those small businesses and get them successfully opened. And so that's one of the things. And then also this revolving loan fund, we're really excited about that. And we have actually asked for additional funding, and I'll talk about that in the next slide. So we have been very successful in grant awards. To date, $703,000, but the BBB, the Build Back Better Challenge, is the one that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, because if we're successful, it's a $319 million grant, largest that will ever come to not only the state of Arizona, but definitely this region. We have partnered, our consortium includes the city of Tucson, and this consortium runs all the way from our border with California all the way to Tucson. And so we have applied for broadband funding to support agriculture and our rural areas, our Native American tribes that are struggling, and these pockets of communities that Spectrum and those refuse to even consider getting service to because there's not enough return on investment for them. So the match on that, it's a almost $11 million request. And $8 million is the match, and that is all Yuma County with the broadband backbone that they're going to build. And we can't do this other broadband project without that backbone. And then we also have a Yuma Food Impact Center that is going to be established. And what that is for is food entrepreneurs, people who want to start restaurants, people who want to start creating salsas or, whatever their grandmother's recipe that someone has told them, you need to start making that in mass production. We're going to have a launch pad for that type of industry sector. So we're really excited about that. And then we also have the Future Farming Hub, which was almost $7 million. And that is in partnership with the Center of Excellence for the University of Arizona. So if we're awarded out of that $47 million, half of that, a little bit more than half actually, is coming to Yuma County. We had to do a showcase presentation on Friday of last week. And then on May 10th, we are doing one more walkthrough with the EDA because we were shortlisted. So we're excited. There's still not a guarantee that we're going to be chosen, but it's looking very positive. And in phase one of this, we received funds, and $26,000 of that is going towards the feasibility study of the Avenue D corridor. And Hector really led the charge on that Avenue D corridor, and he got the county to support this as well. So this county is using their own engineering department to do the feasibility. And so with that $26,000, we may be able to get that entire feasibility study done. And with that, then we can start applying for infrastructure grants to build that Avenue D corridor, which will connect San Luis and Somerton. So, and it will also have the broadband backbone in there as well. Next slide. So in concert with the Commerce Authority, and we are in competition for an accelerator. Again, it's going to be a electric employee accelerator. We're partnering with Trax at Yuma Proving Ground because Trax needs this kind of labor force They have over 100 positions open right now in the skill set. So we're going to compete and try and get this launch pad through the state or accelerator, excuse me. And then again, we're partnering with Chicanos por la Casa. Chicanos por la Casa has done incredibly well in the PPP loans. So well that they have too much money and they need to spend it and they want to spend it in Yuma County. So we have had them here. We have toured them. And as a matter of fact, they just made an investment at the border and they're working with Yuma Union High School District for some housing. So there's some exciting things coming down the pipe. That is my last slide and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Julie. Going to move on to old business. Discussion and possible action to approve second reading by title only of ordinance number 2020-002 and ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Somerton pertaining to the National Flood Insurance Program, adopting the reference flood insurance study, flood insurance rate maps, and floodplain management ordinance, abrogation and greater restrictions, severability, and providing penalties.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jorge Lozano, City Attorney. This is the proposed second reading of an ordinance that will update our Somerton City Code. Continues to set the floodplain regulation and to be administered by Yuma County, and it updates our code also to have the city manager act as our floodplain manager. Again, it's a compliance issue. We need to get this ordinance in to be in compliance. We haven't done this for several years now. Any questions on the proposed ordinance, Mayor?
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve second reading by title only of ordinance number 2022-002?
So moved, Mayor.
Is this a motion by Council Member Roldan, a second by Vice Mayor Villalpando? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we need another motion to approve the ordinance?
Yes, Mayor, we would have to read the ordinance first.
Okay.
So ordinance number 2022-002, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Somerton, Yuma County, Arizona, pertaining to the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, adopting by reference flood insurance study, FIS, flood insurance rate maps, FIRMS, and floodplain management ordinance, abrogation and greater restrictions, severability, and providing for penalties.
Is there a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
So motion by Councilman Roldan. Second by Councilwoman Sendejas. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have one item in new business. Discussion and possible action to approve resolution 2022-004, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Somerton, Arizona, approving the sale of real property located at 110 North State Avenue and 150 West Main Street, commonly known as Old City Hall, Somerton, Yuma County, Arizona, to Shortway LLC and Arizona Limited Liability Corporation.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. In front of you have a resolution to approve the sale of the Old City Hall building. As established in previous conversations, the new City Hall building would be sold, and it would be to preserve the historical value of it, and it would serve as a gateway to new business in the city of Somerton.
Any questions or comments?
Sorry, we would add, Mayor and council, that this resolution calls for a investment of no less than $250,000. And if the buyer does not start construction within 2 years of closing of the sale, the city has the option to rebuy the building at the original purchase price. We would also record an option to repurchase, which is attached to the resolution.
I saw that language on it about starting construction, but I didn't see anything on completing construction. I'm just kind of playing the devil's advocate. What if the construction is started, or, do you think we should add wording like that? Because I know it's starting construction, but it doesn't say anything about completion.
Well, again, those, I think with a buyer such as this who's willing to invest and then them carrying that risk, we just need to take the risk at that point. We haven't had an instance where we've had someone start construction of one of our properties and then we had to rebuy it or retake it. We've had instances where they bought it from us and they didn't start construction at all, and we did exercise that option to repurchase the building, but we still haven't had a case, at least here in town, where they purchased something from the city, they started construction, and they left the project halfway. I guess at that point, that's the risk, I think, of if the city wants to take that risk, it's up for discussion.
I just kind of noticed that because it has the starting button. If you don't think it's necessary, I'll trust our city attorney.
Hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Along with our economic development director and just put that down there.
Well, I would just like to add that in speaking to the developer, it is in his best interest to finish construction as soon as he starts, especially because of the increase in prices as time goes on. And he did express that he wants to, as soon as he starts a building, he wants to go full speed on that.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion? A motion by Councilwoman Sendejas. Second by Vice Mayor Villalpando. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna go into summary of current events, and we don't have an executive session. First time in a long time.
So, Mayor, obviously we don't have COVID-19 information since last week. There's been issues with the lab. This weekend, Saturday, we have the community Battle of the Cheladas this Saturday, May 7th at Council Park. There'll be car show, music, different type of micheladas, and obviously a lot of other activities for the family. So please come and join us. Wednesday, May 11th will be our CIP work session for fiscal year 2023, and hopefully all of you can make it. As GYDC, Julie did mention the small business office hours. They'll be here actually tomorrow since it's the business week, and then they're going to be coming here every second week of the month here at one of the conference rooms to help with the business plan, applications for loans. So they'll be here at least once a month after that to help those small businesses. Chief De Anda.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. As far as COVID, as the city manager noted, there's been no activity on that. We didn't have any transports on that. We did have one employee that had a reinfection. He's vaccinated. He had symptoms for 2 days, was asymptomatic for 4, and tested negative within 5 days. That's just proof positive of the importance of vaccines. Our accidents are up again, but there haven't been very many injuries. But we're still having a car accident about every other day in this area, in our area here. I noted on my weekly report also about the amount of new people we have. And so right now, currently, we have 6 probationary employees that are having to be trained by our captains, and we have 1 empty spot that's going to be filled here shortly. That's all I have. Thank you.
See who's in the back there. Chief Juarez.
Mayor and Council, good evening. I have a short report. The El Niño event went very uneventful at the Council Park. I think everybody had a great time. Whoever showed up there was a couple council members that were present. We're also doing additional research on the bolo wrap, which is a less lethal option to restrain anyone that's causing us trouble or that we need to secure in a very safe manner without using lethal force or without hurting them. So if you get a chance, if you want to look it up, it's a bolo wrap. It's a wire. I gave a little piece to the city manager for something to show and tell for you guys later on. The enforcement at the parks continues to be very smooth. People are obeying. We did provide some flyers out at the Centennial Park and the Sanguinetti Park, and we're seeing that people are abiding by that. So we continue to remind the public to stay out of the parks when it's hours are closed, which is usually from 11 p.m. all the way up to, I believe it's 5 a.m. And we continue to hire positions. We still have a couple police officer positions open, and we just finished hiring another dispatcher. So we're getting there. It's just taking us some time to do that. Thank you.
Parks and Rec. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Just want to mention that there's an ongoing pool maintenance project right now, including the repainting of the whole plaster, just to get the pool ready by mid-May and be on schedule for all the activities coming up in the summer. Also, please note the Somerton Arts Festival was a total success. Appreciate the help of everyone, support. I was glad to see a lot of city employees there. We did meet the purpose of establishing a promising event here in the area of arts and culture. And that was accomplished by the team and the commission. And appreciate the help of everyone, including all the staff involved. And the swimming lessons registrations begin this Friday. Recreation staff is also working hard on activities for the summer, including a youth summer camp involving several recreational activities during the morning, Monday through Friday for a month. We're considering 4 hours a day, so it's going to be very practical for the parents and the whole family. Kids 7 through 13. And the boxing tournament, we're working on booking a date for June of this year. Thank you. Economic Development.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I have an invitation for the Forefront ED virtual panel on creative industries. This will be next Thursday, May 12 at 10:30 a.m. The topic, as I mentioned before, is creative industries. We will have special guest Matt Molinar, president from MGM Design, Rodrigo Martinez, who's entrepreneur, communicologist, and musician, Marcus Carney from executive director at Visit Yuma, and Ramon Leon, photojournalist, and I will be moderating the panel. Our first virtual panel was very interesting and successful, so we look forward for you joining us. Thank you.
Armando.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Currently, we have a few open positions. We're currently recruiting for maintenance worker 1 part-time, administrative specialist part-time, firefighter, EMT full-time part-time, firefighter, paramedics full-time and part-time, police officer, lifeguard part-time, and then water, wastewater operator apprentice. And with that, we posted an operator 1, operator 2, and operator 3 in case we get a qualified candidate for one of those positions, but it's only one open position. A 911 emergency dispatcher full-time and a court clerk 2.
Finance.
Evening. Working on budget still. We'll be working on putting together all the CIPs and the utility budgets for you for the next couple of weeks, as well as presenting on our financial statements for 2021. And all the billings, utility billings went out today, and shutoffs will begin on the 25th or 23rd of May. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council. Just to inform you that the Yuma County Census Committee met last week on the 26th, April 26th, And also in attendance to this meeting was Scott Wilkin. He is from the Maricopa Association of Governments, or MAG, and he was there to explain why Maricopa County decided to form this committee to review and analyze the annual population estimates, the building permits, and the residential completions, and how they work closely with the Census Bureau and the Office of the State Demographer to ensure that every census, that the entire Maricopa County is not undercounted, like that, the same way that is happening to several of our counties throughout the nation. So the Census Committee is looking into the possibility of presenting our councils with the option of perhaps create this type of committee for the next years and the next decennial census. So if this is a consensus through the committee, we may be presenting to you that option, the possibility to get your input and take it to the county level. The Yuma County is taking the lead on this committee, census committee, after this 2020 census numbers. So we are very extremely trying to prepare something so come next census count, we don't have the same situation that we are right now. So other than that, as far as projects, we have Valle del Sol Phase 3 subdivision. We did the final inspection, the final subdivision inspection. We had a punch list, and we also issued a conditional letter of subdivision acceptance last week for this particular subdivision. We also have new projects. Late last week, the department received construction plans for a new RV that might be located on the just east of the golf course. We have started the review, but we haven't sent comments to the applicant just yet. We'll be sending it to them within the next few days. Other projects that are ongoing is the car wash. As you can see, it's moving forward with the construction, and also the Subway restaurant that has been moving very slow. There was a delay on their equipment, but it seems like they have received them, and we just did an inspection last week. Hopefully they're gonna finish pretty soon. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. An update on our Valle Vista Water Main Extension project. Contractor completed the boring and the PVC pipe installation under the Central Canal. Chlorine test was performed today on the pipe segment between Cesar Chavez and the main drain. The South Somerton Drainage Project, contractor finally completed all the stone drain pipe installation. The pending pavement replacement will be completed tomorrow on Yucca and Orange, and the pending segment will be on Fern between Union and Federal. The 1 million gallon water tank rehabilitation project, contractor submitted all the material submittals, and we are on the review. And hopefully we can approve those in this week. The Parkview Commerce Center project bid opening has been scheduled for this Thursday, May 5th, 2 p.m. here in City Hall. F&A main extension project, contractor completed all the PVC pipe installation, and chlorine test has been scheduled for tomorrow. And finally, North Union Avenue street reconstruction project, contractor removed all the damaged asphalt and the AVC material for reuse. Curb and gutter was poured today. Thank you.
Councilwoman Garcia.
We have a vaccine clinic this Thursday at the old senior center from 3 to 6. At the same time, we're going to be taking the registrations for the Pulguita. That's going to take effect May 14th at Council Park from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Kudos to Parks for a great turnout at the art festival. There was a great turnout for Dia del Nino too. Very hot, but it was a really good turnout. Library did really good. I also attended the SMS Powder Puff game. You can see involvement of parents and foresee high school being the same. It was a really good turnout. And I wanted to mention on the reports from specifically PD,
that legal brief that you put in there, Chief, provides us with information on scenarios. I think that's pretty good. So if you have a chance to read it, it's really good information.
Councilman Castillo.
Again, I want to say I attended that Dia del Niño event. It was well attended. I want to give kudos to Rodney because I saw him grilling some hot dogs. So Mr. Mesa, please let him know. Thank him for that. Also, glad to see the baseball season is underway. I've gone and seen some T-ball games, and it's good to see that. That's all I have, Mayor.
Councilwoman Sendejas.
I too attended the SMS Powder Puff game and was really excited to see a bunch of the participation of the parents and cheering on their students. It was the first time. So I also attended the Arts Festival. Jesus, very good job. And if you can please thank your staff. They did an amazing job putting this together. And Brisa for emceeing. Thanks to her. And also I assisted the car show registration. So thank you, Manny, for allowing us to be there, and Brisa for staying so late in registering these cars for the car show for the Chavela event. Also, just I was informed that San Luis Walking Clinic is now open on extended hours until 9 p.m. every day, including Saturdays. So for the community, instead of going to the emergency room if they need to be seen by a provider, the San Luis Walking Clinic is now open for all the community to go and be seen by a provider. That's all I have.
Just we attended last Friday the tour for the high school, and it was nice to see that. When you're driving, it doesn't look like big, but once you're there walking, it's very different. It's really nice. They give us a nice tour and explanations of where the building is going to be and what's going to be in each building. And it was also nice to meet the new principal for that school, that he invested his time. I thought it was just going to be the contractor there, but no, it was Mr. Avisa there. So I think it's exciting. I mean, it's exciting just to see part of a build. So imagine, what can, when it's done. Go Somerton Toros.
Same thing. I toured the new high school in Somerton on Friday, and what happened yesterday? There was 2 accidents from Somerton kids going to COFA. And that reaffirmed me why we fought so hard to bring the high school to Somerton, because my daughter was involved in one accident 4 years ago. And then my niece yesterday and another kid, 2 different accidents. And that reinforced me for all those parents and for all those people that say, why do we need a high school in Somerton? That it's not going to be state of the art. It's not going to be the best high school. It's not going to have the education that COFA has. But let me tell you, just seeing those kids and crying and seeing their pain, it makes me, it made me so proud that we all, the community, did this, and we should be proud of what we're bringing to Somerton. So, and it was a great tour, what we had on Friday. And now we're looking for businessmen to help us sponsor for the baseball field. We're not going to have lights, but if we can get the community to support and Cornfest to help us bring that reality to Somerton. So, but I'm so proud of what I saw on Friday and what I saw yesterday with our kids and those accents. Makes me reinforce that we are on the right track. We did the right thing, bringing a high school to our community. Thank you.
But we will have the same type of education, Mr. Valina.
Yeah, we'll have better.
Mayor, I think trees and lights for the fields. That's a wash.
It's a trade.
Chief. Hi.
Okay. He will be contacted.
It's been already.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a small request, and from Jerry, if you could give me a rundown of something that's equivalent to debt to income ratio for the general fund. Kind of what the banks use in order to determine, see if they'll approve your loan. I kind of want to see that comparison for myself for this budget, this current year, and then what's projected to be next year with all these increases. So if you could provide that. And one other thing is, I want to see if you could provide me the amount that we fund JYDC. They did a presentation and quite frankly, I don't agree with all their numbers, but I just want to be able to look at that. That's it. Thanks.
Wasn't able to attend the art event, but I heard great things about it. So I want to thank staff for all their hard work and also the commission. They were the ones with the idea. So, thank them. And I also went to the tour and we talked to the future principal, Lucky Arvizo, and we just told him that we will have future conversations of, how we can grow the sports. He was a coach. We have established sports here like, wrestling, baseball, soccer, but there's football, there's golf that we want to be a powerhouse here in the state. And I think we can do something about it and we can partner with them and help out. And, that Powder Puff event just was kind of just like showing us what it can be and having Friday Night Lights. So it's going to be great for the city. I think, we're talking and academically, I think, but the most impact is going to be on the extracurricular activities and kids driving the activity bus and staying late and just having, now with football practice, they measure the moisture and they have to stay late for practice. So being able to come home and go back to practice, I think that's where the major impact is going to be. So, I'm glad that we're moving closer to it, but we agreed to have future conversations and hopefully we can get the golf program, kind of work with Pop Warner and have a football program. I don't want to have a losing team. We want to be competitive. So hopefully we can assist in that. So it's 7:51. Meeting's adjourned. Record.
She's taking credit for 3,341 jobs. She had no role in it. Oh, you are? It insults my intelligence.
No, más manda, ¿tú qué ideas tienes? Lo que yo quiero que Council tenga, 7 años, desde 2 años, 3 años que no.